So how's she going, eh? I thought that I'd try and do something a little bit less giveaway entry-ish. So I figured what I'd do for this video, I would basically do a quick breakdown of my kit so far, what I've got as far as picks and tools and whatnot, and maybe talk about some of the things that I'm hoping to someday add on to my collection. So yeah, I guess first place to start is there is my tool roll. So this is where I keep all my picks and tension wrenches, things like that. It was actually made for me by my mother-in-law. She does a lot of sewing, and I asked if she would make something for me to keep my picks in, and she kindly agreed. It's a bit dirty. I intend to clean it someday, but yeah, I figure if it's dirty, it means it was used. It's got a little bit of action. Anything to do with trucks or tools or work clothes, if they aren't stained, if they aren't dirty, then you're not using them right. So here's my basically my pick set. I've also got Sparrow's gut wrench over here for circlip removal and standing up cores for pinning and gutting. It's not something that I've really used extensively. I don't have a lot of gutting equipment, so it's can sometimes be a bit of an undertaking. So the way I have it, my pick kit set up is basic, kind of loosely goes from shallower to steeper with diamonds kind of at the end and rakes. So I've got my Sparrow's short hook and shallow Euro hook in the leftmost top compartment. Then I have the shallow SS Devs hook here in the second compartment, along with Sparrow's, I believe they call that a high reach hook, which I found was a little bit less aggressive than the rest of the SS Devs kit, so I put them next to it over here. Then I've got my Sparrow's half diamond and offset hybrid. I would say the offset hybrid, that deep reach and short hook are my favorite picks generally to use day to day. Continuing on, I've got my Bogota style rakes, and then I have a snake and a city rake or an L rake, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry if you're getting a bit dizzy. I'm not used to holding my camera and shooting, but I don't really use the rakes too much, but I enjoy messing around with them from time to time, just because, I mean, if I really needed to get into something, I imagine that would probably be the best way, since the majority of, I mean, like my door locks and stuff like that don't really have much security pins or anything. And then moving on, I have my 20 thousandths. The first ones were all in 25 thousandths. So I have a steep hook and a shallow Euro hook in 20 thousandths and offset hybrid. When I started, all that I had was a Sparrow's kickstart. So I just had the short hook, the offset hybrid, a couple rakes. I think it was the triple beak Bogota and the L rake. So I wasn't, like, I knew that I liked the offset hybrid, but I didn't really know what else I was really a fan of. So when I made my order, I wanted to have a couple picks that were a bit thinner. I was kind of guessing that Euro hook would be good if I was trying to get into something with a thinner keyway, that having that little dip in the end and the thinner profile would help. Not a huge fan of that profile. I probably would have been better off to go with a short hook, but you know, live and learn. So I've already talked about the gut wrench. Another thing I've kind of color coded, so I've got all of my 25 thousandths stuff is wrapped in black, either hockey tape on the left or electrical tape on the right. I just wrapped it around so that it overlapped, added a little bit of thickness, over the bare metal. And then at the end I did a couple extra little wraps just to give it a bit more bulk, a little bit more roundness on the edge to make it a bit more comfortable. And then for my picks and 20 thousandths, I used red electrical tape just to set them apart, so I know which ones are my 20,000, which ones are my 25,000. I would like to get some thinner picks as well. I'd love to have some in 15 or 18 to deal with some tighter keyways on locks that I haven't been able to get opens on, or it probably wouldn't help anyways, but it would be nice to have the option of at least trying. So then I have all my bottom of keyway tensioners here. One of the things that I added after I did the kickstart was the expansion set, so I got some more bottom of the keyway tension wrenches with it. I must have either used one of these or it must have fell out somewhere along the way, but I have all my twisty wrenches on the left, and then I have my straight wrenches towards the right, and then that's the like Z style or whatever you want to call it. So this video is really kind of janky, but I think it gets the point across. And I'll get those in later. And then I have my top of the keyway tension bars, which is the Sparrow's heavy bars, and then the regular flat 5 set. So I've got my 250 thousandths top of the keyway tension wrenches here. That one's the 40 thousandths, the 32 thousandths, and the, I think they were 25 thousandths. So basically it goes from thicker to thinner, all separated, so that I know where they are and what I'm grabbing when I grab them. And then last, and maybe least, the goat tubular tension wrench, which I still have yet to get to work really very well on the one tubular lock that I have. Maybe if I get some more tubular locks, I'll be able to get it to work with something. The next bit of my kit, I guess if you want to count it as part of the kit, is my vise. I added that on. I just got it a couple weeks ago. I mean, you all know the vise. Well, most of you have basically the exact same one, so I don't really need to talk too much about it. What else have I got? As far as gutting goes, like I was saying, I don't really have a lot of gutting equipment. I have that gut wrench, and I have my Sparrow's reload kit. So I do have the Sparrow's cutaway. I was using it to practice when I first started. I haven't really used it a whole lot since then. Right now I've got it loaded up with some mushrooms and some serrated pins. It is actually pinned up to 6, but for whatever reason they didn't cut the window to show the 6th pin stack. It's kind of, I don't really get why they did that, but you know, that's what they did. So I'll see what I can do with this so I can get the tin open. So I got some tweezers in here. Mostly I just have these tweezers in here because they fit. I do intend to someday probably try and take a file down that little thickened metal part there. They don't really come together all the way, but I think if I could notch out a little bit of that, it would grab pins a bit better. So that I have. Also, it came with the schlag follower, which is great for the cutaway, and I'm guessing most other schlag style locks, but that is in fact the only follower that I have. So when I get to gutting anything in any different core sizes than that, it gets a little bit rocky. And I also have, geez Louise, the upside down, but as you've seen in about a zillion other people's videos, the old mini pinning mat. So that's obviously what I typically use for pinning. In here I've also got some DVD protection strips for core shims, which I haven't tried using yet, but my understanding is that they work. Maybe not the best, maybe they're pretty good, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't tried it, so why are you asking me? Oh yeah, I'm the one who chose to make this video. And with my reload kit, even though it didn't say on the description, it actually included the check pins. I haven't messed around with these yet, but I do have an idea for a video coming up where I basically put a piece of paper with each of the pins names on them, the check pins, as well as the regular sparrows, mushroom spools, serrated, standard drivers, and put those into a hat as well. Basically draw out which key to pin it up to. I've got the key that came with it. I've got a sort of low to high key. I've got a low high low key, high low high key, and those are all 5-pin. I've also got this 6-pin key as well. So yeah, draw out one key, and I'll draw for pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, pin 4, pin 5, and if I use the 6-pin key, the 6th, to set up which security drivers to load up with it. And then I'll load up my cutaway and stick it in the vise, try and cover it up with a piece of paper, and you guys can watch the pins while I attempt to pick whatever random configuration I've come up with. That's going to take a bit of time. And like I said, my video taking time tends to be fairly limited. It's kind of hit or miss whether I'll get to make a video one day or not. When I'm working, I don't get a chance because I work 12-hour shifts, and that takes up enough time in my day as it is. Basically, by the time I get home, I eat dinner, put my kids to bed, or yeah, and basically get myself ready for the morning, go to bed myself. If I'm working days anyways. If I'm working nights, I come home, usually chill for a couple minutes and then hit the sack. But yeah, I think that basically concludes it. Yeah, I also have a multi-tool. I usually use the screwdriver on this for taking out, like for gutting padlocks, like the American lock, or like 7240s, 7140s, things like that. I also have a headlamp that I borrow from my kids for when I'm doing gutting, so that basically where I'm looking I have light, so I can get the springs and the driver pins back in. First time I tried to do it, I couldn't see shit, and it was quite the headache trying to get shit back together. But as soon as I realized that I could throw that headlamp on and beam light straight into where I'm looking, it made it 1,000 times easier. So yeah, if I've got one tip for anybody from this video, if you don't make a light up follower like Rook Knight showed in his video, then I recommend investing in a little elastic headband flashlight headlamp to shine in on whatever you're working on. So I think that's it. I don't have much else to say. So yeah, just that's what I got. And in the future, I'm hoping to get different sizes of followers. That's kind of big on my priority list right now. It's pretty tough gutting and reassembling without the followers, but you got to do what you got to do. So I mean, I figured out ways I can manage. It would be a lot easier if I had the proper followers. Like I was saying before as well, some thinner picks would be fantastic for some tougher keyways. And then of course, some dimple picks, some disc detainer pick would be great. All the things everybody wants really. But yeah, for now, tweezers that are proper pinning tweezers or a modification on these ones, that's up there on my list, as well as proper follower set, so I can get into doing a little bit more gutting than I typically do now. Well, that's a good 16 and a half minutes we're at now, so I think that's where I'm gonna wrap it up, and I hope you've stuck with me through all this dodgy, camera shaky, out of focus shit show that I've come up with here. But yeah, if you're looking for top-notch amazing videos, you're gonna have to look at Bosnian Bill Locknoob, one of those kind of guys that they're really, you know, putting everything into it. If you're coming to my channel, you're gonna be seeing rough, typically uncut, and off the cuff type videos that are going to be a bit dodgy at times, and maybe you'll have some background noise like the trickling water from my cat fountain. Maybe some kids will be running by, some PlayStation noises, dog. I don't know what you're gonna get. Honestly, it's gonna be a roll of the dice whenever you click on one of my videos. So I'll do my best to make it, you know, at least worth watching. But I'm not going to make any promises. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not doing this to make it big or to try and come up with any world-class content. It's just something I'm doing for shits and giggles. Anyhow, thanks for sticking with me if you've managed to make it in 18 minutes. And I hope you enjoyed it. Peace for now.